Today we will see how to change the region on our iPhone. First of all, I need to clarify a few things. If you are going to do this for any reason, changing the region does not mean that it will change our actual location, like for a VPN, for example, for Netflix or something like that. That is something completely different. But what will change is access to Apple services. So when you go into settings, there will be options that appear. That didn't appear before. For example, there are some like these for standby or emergency, which occur on certain occasions. It tells you that it can notify you about certain things like exposure to COVID and this type of thing, but that only applies to the United States. Regardless of whether you are in Mexico or in Colombia, it will not apply to you as these are services exclusive to people who are located there. However, they will activate certain features that may work for you from any country, because even though they are available for the United States or for any region you want to access, they can also be accessed from other places. But for some reason, Apple decides not to enable them. And the other thing I should tell you is that the language does not change. I do have it in English. That's because I changed the language. It's not because I changed the language. E.G. If you change it to France, it's not that it will change to the French language. But anyway, to change it, we simply go into our settings, or our configurations. We will go in here. Let's scroll down, and we're going to look for where it says General. Once you enter General, you'll find all this information over here. And you'll scroll down to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to the 5th menu. This one right here. And here it clearly says Language and Region. The language and region. If you have it in Spanish, we go in there. This is where I tell you, look, I have English as the language of the iPhone at the top. But if I wanted to switch it to Spanish, I simply have to select Spanish and move it up. For example, here I hold down these 3 lines or this menu and move it up, and it will automatically tell me that if I want to apply this setting, I need to restart the iPhone. But in this case, no, I will keep it in Spanish. So, that's where you configure the language in case someone needed that. Now, the region. We have it down here under the United States region. Now you can choose any region, without any problem. The topic of updates is also included. It's practically the same, it's not it arrives faster in one region than in another. That happens sometimes on Android, so here it's practically the same. There are certain sections and certain things, and certain applications that will seem available to you. If you change it to certain places, for example, I have it set to the United States, because there are some applications that I can use from here, and I can't use them, for example, from where I am, which is Colombia, and once you all simply select, for example, if I wanted to change it back to Colombia, I would choose Colombia. And again, it tells me that it will change. I can press this red button to change to Colombia, and it will restart the iPhone. Don't worry about that. Make sure, by the way, that it has enough charge. If you don't have enough battery to do this restart, it's better to wait and charge it a bit, at least to 30%. Once you have it charged, then you can change the region, because it might run out of battery in the middle of the change, which could cause problems. So, to avoid this kind of issue, it's better to charge the phone to a certain point, and then go ahead and make this change. And that's it. Once you change it, when you restart it, you will come back to this option here, and the changed region will appear. In my case, it will keep the same United States settings, and we can also configure certain things in case we don't like how it turns out. For example, we can have the temperatures reflected in Celsius instead of Fahrenheit. Also, the topic of which day we want to be the first day of the week, so it depends on us to choose the date. We know that in the United States, they use a certain date format not used in South America or in Latin America in general, so we could change that. Or the format the numbers that instead of being separated by commas, are separated from the beginning by periods. Or they may not have any separation of periods or commas, and only have spaces. You can configure that there, and once you change it, it will be completely functional for whatever you want to do. That said, I hope this tutorial has been helpful. See you next time, goodbye.